While a leading software company today warning that hackers are now targeting mobile phones. Network Associates says that one virus discovered was able to strip financial details from an internet-ready mobile. Well, let's go live now to Fergus at the Money Desk. Fergus, how serious a risk is this?
Well, it may be small, but potentially serious, according to this software company. It says there is a virus which is capable of raiding an internet-ready WAP phone and raiding personal details from it. In this case, the phone had banking details on it, and it was able to strip those. The company says there are also viruses being written for handheld computers like this, the Palm series. I spoke earlier to one of the company's presidents, Sandra England, who said that the risk may be small, but she warned that there is worse to come.
It will certainly take off, though, as hackers and virus writers become more familiar with those operating systems, and as the usage of those devices proliferates, so will the viruses and the security breaches.
Until recently, it was assumed that computers had to be touching each other for a virus to jump between them. Now the threat of airborne bugs is a reality. There had been some previous outbreaks of SMS message jamming on mobiles, but today Network Associates claim to have identified the first self-replicating mobile virus. It leaps from palm top to palm top via infrared transfers or remote internet connections.
It's certainly the first mobile virus, but it's not the first mobile threat. In the past, we've seen what we call Trojans, which are a one-hit type of application. In other words, you would download the program, it would affect just your mobile device. What we're seeing now are mobile viruses. In other words, self-replicating code.
The company is offering an antidote on its website. It says the Palm virus is low risk and has limited ability to fry hardware. But it does demonstrate how the mobile internet could be just as vulnerable to virus attack as physical networks, as the electronic bugs take to the air. Mike Sargent, Sky News.
Windows and Office. And with us now is Sal Viveros, the director of international computer security firm Network Associates. Sal, welcome. First of all, what is a source code?
Basically, the source code is what makes up a program. So by hackers having access to this, they can now go out and create stronger viruses or stronger hack attacks to the Windows environment.
Now, Microsoft is the largest computer-related company in the world. It's probably thrown millions, if not billions of pounds at its security. If Microsoft can be broken into, then little companies around the world have no chance at all, do they?
They actually do have a chance, but there's really been a wake-up call now. Companies right now are reevaluating the security. It's not enough to have antivirus programs. You need to make sure they're up to date. You need to have encryption, because then if hackers get the files, they're encrypted in such a way that they can't have access to them. So there's things companies can do, but I think it's a real wake-up call, because most companies aren't protected.
Now, but Microsoft itself, I mean, when
The US and UK market are leading the way in e-security, with key players ranging from companies providing software and hardware security products to antivirus firms such as long-established Network Associates.
Network Associates is demonstrably a world leader in terms of market share. IDC have rated us as having 50% of the worldwide desktop antivirus marketplace, which is more than twice as much as our nearest competitor. And in the UK market, independent research shows us at having around 65% of the corporate marketplace. So we're a major player in this area, thanks to our investments in Dr. Solomon's and in McAfee, and that's an area we intend to maintain.
With electronic commerce expected
from Network Associates. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
We remember, Melissa, could this be worse?
Yes, it's almost the situation just when you thought it was safe to go outside, another one's come along and hit us.
the first indications of this new virus, the love letter virus, is that it's spreading more quickly than Melissa. Indications are that some 30% of UK companies have been affected in some way today, and it hasn't stopped yet.
Whoever put this together, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, but by putting I love you, I mean, everybody thinks, well, they'll go straight to it, won't they?
Yes, this is a pretty common method now that virus authors employ for getting users of email to dig into the body of the mail and actually activate the virus. If you leave it alone, just delete it, you won't come to any harm. But if you double-click on the attachment, then you've got the virus, and it starts from there.
Significant number of corporations have been affected.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, there's a threefold hit here with this virus. First of all, because it spread so rapidly and so widespread, we estimate that around, in the UK alone, around 30% of corporations got hit today in some way. So initially, there's a productivity loss impact, mopping up operations, people not knowing whether they've been hit or not. So that in itself causes damage. The second payload, if you like, was the fact that the virus actually does change things on the system, and it makes tidying up even harder. And for a while, there was a third and potentially very damaging payload, which was a security breach whereby users' passwords would get mailed on to an external source, which means that somewhere out there, someone out there has got passwords relating to users who have had this virus. Big message is, change your passwords today.
Madam Speaker, the Leader of the House may have received an email message saying, I love you. I have to tell her that sadly this affectionate greeting contains a virus which has immobilized the House's internal communication system.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry or pleased, Madam Speaker, that as far as I'm aware, I have not received an email saying, I love you.
The virus, already dubbed the love bug, is attached to an email. If that message is opened, the virus hunts down any address list and sends out more emails.
It also has serious implications for company secrecy.
It appears to have the capability of taking certain password security files from the user's PC and mailing those on to another email address, which in itself may be the most significantly serious thing about the love letter virus.
Last year, they had to cope with the Melissa virus, which caused damage worldwide. They're saying this one is even more serious.
What we have here is an outbreak. It's not a single incidence of a virus infecting 1 or 2, maybe 300 people. I believe this virus has already infected 1 million, 2 million, maybe up to 10 million users at this time.
And tonight it emerged.
Associates. Hello to you, Douglas. Now, first of all, in general, how do people go about attacking these kind of websites?
Well, the short answer is they use computers. And computers can push lots of information out onto a piece of wire or out onto the internet. And there are sophisticated pieces of software that some of these people design themselves that will make this sort of process happen really, really, really fast, many, many times. And if you can push enough information at a particular website at a given time, you can flood it.
And so that's what appears to have been happening in these particular cases, but they weren't actually breaching the system's security, were they?
I don't think they were. I mean, what they did is probably similar to, I guess a good analogy would be if you were to fill a car park for a supermarket with double-decker buses. A lot of people wouldn't be able to get into the store to shop that day. So while the store wouldn't necessarily have been broken into, the accessibility or the access to that store is gone. And that's a big problem for companies that rely on their presence on the internet to do business.
What's the monetary cost of what's happening now?
It's tricky to say. I think with a company like Yahoo, they are an information portal. They're a place that people go to find other things on the internet. They're not really trying to sell you books or shirts or CDs. But the fact that this sort of thing can happen now is scarier than it ever has been. The impact for a company today that does all of its business on the internet is massive.
Yeah, the whole hype is more and more business is going e-commerce. Therefore, if there's a vulnerability in that channel, we should all sit up and take notice.
Yeah, I think uptime or availability is everything if you are a .com or an internet-based company.
Do you, businesses who are watching you, do you have any tips which can easily be spelt out? We haven't got a lot more time, unfortunately.
Well, have a security policy. You know, look at your company's security risks from top to bottom, and don't wait until something bad happens to you. Look for the problems now, find them and fix them before something like this happens to you.
Okay.